Rachel, and these are my audience members.
Robert,
Brooke, Donna, Ginger,
John, William,
Candace.
A wise man once said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same." This quote was found on listverse.com/2009-02-21, 20 great quotes from Ronald Reagan. On February 6, 1911, Ronald Wilson Reagan came into the world not knowing he would become such an inspirational and heroic figure. The main reasons I admire Ronald Reagan are his early life, his passion for acting, his dedication to his country, and his political life. I found out a lot about Ronald Reagan's early life on history1900s.about.com. In his early years, Ronald grew up in Tampico, Illinois, but he moved to Dixon at the age of 9. Ronald grew up during the Great Depression. After graduating from Eureka College in 1932, he became a radio announcer for a radio in Davenport. The same website that gave me all the information about his early life also gave me information about the next chapter in his life, which was his acting career. Shortly after college in 1937, he decided to visit California. Not expecting what was to come, he was asked to play a radio announcer in an upcoming movie called Love is on the Air. This jump-started his career in acting. Over the next several years, Reagan was in 4 to 7 movies each year. He became a very famous actor by the time he filmed his last movie, The Killers, in 1964. By this time, he was in over 50 movies. Acting helped him meet a lady named Jane Wyman. On January 26, 1940, the two married. They had 2 children, Maureen in 1941 and Michael in 1945, who was adopted. Ronald's participation in the wars also played a great role in his life. Ronald was drafted into the Army in 1941 during World War II. He spent 3 years working for the Motion Picture Army Unit, where he would make training and propaganda films. After the war, Ronald's marriage began to have many problems. The couple divorced in June of 1948. However, Ronald later found the woman he would spend the rest of his life with. He married actress Nancy Davis on March 4, 1952. Their love for one another was very obvious. Information about Ronald's political life was also found on this website. New to being a Republican, Ronald ran for governor of California in 1966. He won and successfully ran for 2 consecutive terms. Although he was governor of a very big state, he always looked at the bigger picture. He decided to become nominee for President of the United States. For the 1980 election, Reagan won the Republican nomination and successfully ran against incumbent Jimmy Carter for president. Reagan also won the 1984 presidential election against Democrat Walter Mondale. Only 2 months after taking office as president, Reagan was shot on March 30th, 1981 by John W. Henneke Jr. Outside the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C., the shot barely missed Ronald's heart, and he survived. Reagan spent his later years as president attempting to cut taxes, lessen people's reliance on the government, and increase national defense. Reagan was elected president for a second term, and he served despite his early stages of Alzheimer's disease. I found on whitehouse.gov/aboutpresident/Ronald Reagan that at the end of his 2 terms in office, Ronald Reagan viewed with satisfaction the achievements of his innovative program known as the Reagan Revolution, which aimed to revigorate the American people and reduce their reliance upon the government. He felt he had fulfilled his campaign pledge of the 1980s to restore the great confident roar of the American progress and growth of optimism. He died on June 5, 2004, at the age of 93. Overall, the Reagan years saw a restoration of prosperity and the goal of peace through the strength seemed to be within his group. He did many great things in his life that deserved praise, and this is why I admire